Hello guys, I'm Christopher from CMM and this is the Elephone U Pro, and I'm excited like a little kid because this is the most promising Elephone ever made. It packs a Snapdragon 660 processor, a curved display and a real dual camera. So let me tell you something about my first impression. So I just unboxed the phone and I'm blown away by the design actually. Of course it's nothing new, it looks a little bit like a Samsung phone, but the build quality is really top notch. All pieces fit very well together. As you can see, the phone is very slim, the curved glass gives it a very premium touch. The metal frame looks like a really good quality, and the phone even is rather sturdy despite this dual glass design. So as you can see, the metal frame is slightly curved and very glossy, which looks stunning. On the bottom we have two openings, probably for one speaker and a microphone, as well as the USB Type-C port. Then on the right side we have the volume rocker and the power switch. The buttons do not rattle and they have a clicky tactile feedback like on the OnePlus 5/OnePlus 5T, which is very nice. On the upper side we have the SIM tray, which is a hybrid slot, so you can either use one micro SD card and one nano SIM or two nano SIM cards. And there also is a noise cancelling microphone. And on the left side we have nothing except this very slim frame. The rear packs a dual LED flash, the dual camera, which looks promising. As you can see, it's not an immediately visible fake camera, this looks real. And according to the first impressions of other reviewers, this really is a real dual camera, so I'm very excited to test this. Very nice to see that the camera is a little bit embedded into the glass, so it doesn't scratch that easily and also doesn't stick out. And below it we have the fingerprint scanner, which I think is placed not the best way. I would have preferred it to be on the side or a little bit more down below here, because with this placement you easily touch the camera when unlocking the phone. And here on the bottom we have the Elephone logo, and as you can see it has this Lumia wave effect, so depending on how the surrounding light shines on the glass you get some subtle waves appearing there, which looks really nice. Then as you can see, the screen covers almost the entire front. This has to be the best screen to body ratio I've seen yet on a Elephone device and in general on those typical China phones. So as you can see, especially the chin and forehead area is very slim there, and it's really a curved display, as you can see, which looks really nice. The bezels are really slim too. So that looks just really nice. Seems to be a great OLED screen they used there. So let me just set up the Elephone U Pro and then you will get more impressions. Alright, so I have now used the Elephone U Pro for about 9 hours, and let me tell you that this is by far the best Elephone ever. I mean, this phone is really good. The screen alone is already really good. I told you that initially in my very first impression that I think the screen is great, and yes, this came out to be true when actually using the phone. Just look at the colors, this AMOLED screen is really nice, and yes, it's really curved. Look at that. Really nice thing, and when you look at it from the front, it appears almost bezel-less. I mean, and look at those tiny bezels. That's just awesome, and the screen to body ratio is just great. Also brightness seems to be great. Haven't had any sunshine yet to check outdoor readability, but indoor it looks really good. Also what I like about the panel is that it doesn't have this rainbow effect when you look at it from very steep viewing angles, like some of the other AMOLED phones out there have it. So as you can see, color shift is almost not present. It gets a little bit greenish, but you can see that more in the camera actually than in real life. But besides of that, the viewing angles are just great on this phone. And what's also great on a lot of AMOLED panels, especially in the curved arena, think back to the Xiaomi Mi Note 2, you get this certain graininess or line patterns on this screen when you pull it down to a lower brightness. This is not the case at all here. Look at this. No graininess whatsoever. No lines. Just a very good overall picture quality. The only thing that stood out to me are two minor issues. First, the light of the screen shines out on the edge of the front glass, which results in some light appearing in darkness on the edge of the screen. But that's actually not a huge problem because that actually looks nice. It's kind of an ambilight that some Philips televisions have, where you get this light shining in the background of the screen in the color of the screen's content. So that's how it looks. It's just much thinner, but I actually like that, so it's not really a huge flaw. And another thing, which is a bigger issue, is a bug with the screen driver, that on a certain brightness level it starts to display gray tones as green, which looks really strange. I don't know if you can see this through the camera, but let me try to reproduce this. So right now I'm on the lowest brightness setting and it looks black. But if I go a little bit upwards now, you will start to notice that black looks kind of greenish. Actually, for the camera, I don't know. Let me look for a more suitable image. So now you are able to see it better. Can you see this greenish circle around the smiley face there? This is what I mean, and this looks really ugly, especially if you're watching videos with high contrast content. But you can easily get rid of it by just pulling up the brightness. As you can see, now it's gone with just a little bit more brightness. And also on the lowest brightness settings, it disappears completely. So this seems to be a bug in the screen driver, which of course needs to be fixed. It's not a huge problem as long as you stay away from this brightness area here. But yeah, it definitely doesn't look nice, so I hope they fix that with the next update. So the Elephone U Pro already runs Android 8.0. I'm just a little bit disappointed that it doesn't run Android 8.1, but well, Android 8.0 is still okay. And I'm very pleased to see that it runs the Android security patch level of February already. So that's great to see. After unboxing, it already got one OTA update, and you can also update the security patch level directly from Google, so you don't need to rely on Elephone for that anymore, which is very nice. So for the operating system, this is a mix of Elephone's own UI and a stock Android. So if you have a look at the home screen, this has been slightly customized, has different icons, but still it's a very nice experience. We have an app drawer that we can swipe up from the bottom, scroll through all the apps and then pull it down again, or just hit the back button, which I'll show you later on. If we swipe on the home screen to the left from the first page, we get the Google feed, which is a nice feature, I think. Then the app drawer looks kind of standard. And then what's really nice is the way to navigate through the system. The Elephone U Pro enables you to use the full screen without any on-screen buttons, while actually not having touch buttons below the screen. So how does that work? Well, they actually use gestures like on the iPhone X. So if I swipe here from the center, I go home. If I swipe from the left, I get the app switcher. And if I swipe from the right, I go back. So that's actually very neat and works really well without wasting any space here on the screen. However, if you don't like that, you can still enable the default navigation keys, as you can see here. Now we have them back, and those actually look different than the stock Android buttons and can become transparent, as you can see, which looks really nice. And you can also change the style of them, how they look, how they are arranged, and you can even change the color. So in terms of software, they did quite some nice things on this phone, and I'm very positively impressed by this. However, there are some bugs left, especially in games. I noticed that sometimes controls are out of range, so they are outside of the displayed screen area. This should be fixed in order to be able to control all the games without any issues. Also, I have noticed that the accelerometer isn't calibrated correctly yet. So if you are playing a racing game like this with the accelerometer control, if you steer to the right, this doesn't work as well as when you steer to the left. So somehow it doesn't really recognize when you're steering to the right. So if you're playing racing games, you should switch to touch controls until Elephone fixed this bug. But besides of that, really nice system, looks nice, very smooth, snappy and fluent, and it also runs stable so far, so really nothing to complain about there. What I didn't find yet is the setting for the face unlock feature, which is supposed to be there. Other reviewers claim they tested face unlock. I don't know how they did it, because I really have no settings for this. I went through all of the categories here, clicked through all the settings multiple times. There is no Face ID option on my phone. I don't know why. I can show you security. I only have screen lock, pin unlock, swipe, pattern, password, no face unlock there. I don't know how to set that up. When it comes to performance, as it was to expect, the Elephone U Pro with its Snapdragon 660 processor performs really good. As you can see in Antutu, it gets 140,663 points, which is slightly more than a Xiaomi Mi Note 3, and other benchmarks confirm that. Look at the single core benchmark of Geekbench 4, 1,615 points, again slightly more than the Xiaomi Mi Note 3, and the multi-core score with 5,877 is also slightly higher, which is great to see. So overall, the phone's performance is really nice, and that not only in benchmarks, you can even feel that because games just run perfect, even the demanding titles, and all apps run just very smooth. It's just a pleasure to use that phone. That's the internal 128 GB memory speed, that's the micro SD card speed. Yes, you can still use micro SD cards despite this 128 GB memory, which is a big pro over the Xiaomi Mi Note 3, for example. That's the RAM speed, also very good. No thermal issues at all, as you can see, just very slight thermal throttling, but nothing disturbing there. ABG and AC-WiFi, as you can see, very fast throughput. Great reception quality. There is a fallback to the 2.4 GHz network, one floor below the router, but still very good bandwidth for that. GPS seems to work fine as well, haven't done any navigation yet. So yeah, in general, really good performance. And let me just open up Facebook and scroll through the feed so you can see the performance, because this is where usually most Chinese phones do stutter. But here, smooth, 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 smooth. It's all just smooth and works so well. It's really a pleasure to use this phone in terms of performance, and if I fire up multiple apps, nothing changes about this. As you can see, everything opens up really fast. No waiting times at all. Let me just open up Google Maps as well. So yeah, as you can see, this works like a charm. Switching through apps as well. 6 GB of RAM really enable you to open a huge number of apps without them closing down in the background, which is great in everyday use. It's just a pleasure to use this phone. I can repeat this all the time. The fingerprint scanner inside this phone, located on the back under the camera module, is okay. Not the fastest, but it's very reliable. So far it never failed on me, which is impressive. Let me just demonstrate that. So yeah, with some software optimization I could make this faster, but it's fine, I think. I mean, I'm not disturbed by a 1 second unlocking time or something like that. Let me just try how fast it is when the phone is already turned on. Yeah, so that's much faster, as you can see. So it just takes a while to wake up, and that's what's causing this delay in unlocking. But as I said, I can live with that, and most other people probably too. And if you're wondering, yes, this phone also has a status LED, which is located on the top above the screen, right next to the front camera. It's an RGB status LED, so it can display all colors, and it's flashing upon notifications and is also displaying the charging status. The Elephone U Pro also supports NFC, but not only that, it also supports QI wireless charging. So let's just quickly test that. I haven't done that yet, so let me place it on the induction plate. Nothing is happening. Maybe I need to enable NFC to get this to work. Alright, it looks like I can't get wireless charging to work. I need to check out if this is just an incompatibility issue with my charging plate or if something is wrong with my device. So I just suspected that my NFC antenna, which is also responsible for QI wireless charging, might be broken, but that's actually not the case. Let me just put my wireless payment card behind the phone, and as you can see, it works perfectly fine. It easily recognizes the details of the chip. So the antenna is not broken. I don't know why wireless charging does not work on my unit. The dual camera of the Elephone U Pro is based on two 13 megapixel sensors, of which one operates in monochrome mode. And yet this dual camera actually is real. It can do a real bokeh effect, and it works actually quite well for a phone like this. There is of course still room for improvement, but so far I can't complain about that. Also in general, the camera performance at daylight isn't bad at all. It does really crisp and detailed pictures that look even great on a larger display, which is good to see. An issue, however, is low light performance. This isn't optimized at all right now. I really doubt, considering the daylight performance of the camera, that the camera is causing this bad quality in low light pictures. But Elephone should really try to fix that, because that's really not acceptable in a phone that costs more than 300 euros in my opinion. The battery inside the Elephone U Pro is supposed to be 3550 milliamps in size. When measuring it, I got 3380 milliamps, which is very close, so that seems to be true. Battery life is about 8 hours of screen on time, which is really enough to get through a day even with intensive usage, and should even be enough to get through the evening or night with one charge, but then you will have to recharge if you're a power user. Those with less intense usage might be able to get through 1.5 to 2 days, but not yet sure about that. Need to collect more statistics on that. Can't tell you anything yet about charging time, since I haven't tested that yet. I only charged it slowly while measuring the battery capacity. Need to test fast charging, and also need to get QI wireless charging to work. So yeah, all in all, the Elephone U Pro so far seems to be a great phone with not so many flaws. Definitely Elephone's best device so far. It really is a premium upper mid-range phone. Camera is surprisingly good at daylight. They need to fix the low light performance though, and they should also fix face unlock and QI wireless charging, which aren't here on my device for some reason. But besides of that, great build quality, gorgeous design, gorgeous display, besides of the slight ambilight effect and the issue with the lower screen brightness settings I showed you. But great touchscreen otherwise, great screen quality, the curved screen looks really nice. So yeah, all in all, it's a pretty impressive phone, and well, it just got released, so I think the next updates will improve a lot of things there. So that's it for this first impressions video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the full review.